My sister laughed during dinner. Meet my fiancé, a ranger. She mocked my uniform. Then he saw the Special Forces patch, froze instantly, snapped to attention, and barked, Maya, stop! Do you have any idea what that means? My sister Maya has always had a thing for status. She measures people by their zip code, their watches, and most of all, their titles. In her eyes, I was always the disappointment. While she climbed the corporate ladder in public relations, I was away. She told everyone I was traveling because she was too embarrassed to admit I was military. To her, being a soldier was for people who couldn't get into an Ivy League school. She spent years turning me into the punchline of her jokes at family dinners. I usually stayed quiet. I'm not the kind of guy who needs to brag. Last night was her big engagement dinner. She invited the whole family to an upscale steakhouse to meet her new fiancé, Liam. She'd been bragging about him for months. A real hero, she called him. An Army Ranger with more commendations than you could count. I came straight from base. I was exhausted, still wearing my service uniform. And honestly, all I wanted was a decent steak. I didn't think much of it. Jacket on, sleeves rolled up, the patches from my specialized unit visible on my shoulder. The second I sat down, Maya's face soured. She didn't even say hello. She just looked at my uniform and let out an exaggerated sigh loud enough for nearby tables to hear. Seriously, Chris? You couldn't even change first? She scoffed, swirling her wine glass. We're at a 5-star restaurant and you look ready to go fix a truck. She shook her head dramatically. So embarrassing. Some of us actually have careers we're proud of. The table went silent. My parents stared down at their plates. I just took a sip of water. It's a uniform, Maya, I said calmly, not a costume. Low-level job, let's be honest. She laughed and looked at her friends. Everyone, this is my fiancé Liam. He's a ranger. You know, elite. The guys who actually do the hard work while Chris here probably just guards a gate or whatever it is he does. Liam walked in a moment later. Built like a tank, perfect posture. Every inch of him looked tier 1. Maya lit up instantly, clinging to his arm like he was a trophy. Liam, babe, this is my brother Chris, she said in a voice dripping with fake sympathy. Try not to talk too much about work. I don't want him feeling bad about his little service record. Liam started smiling as he reached out to shake my hand. Good to meet you, me. He stopped 3 inches short of my hand. His eyes weren't on my face. They were locked on my right shoulder, where the rolled sleeve exposed the patch sewn onto the fabric. I watched his jaw tighten. Watched the blood drain from his face in less than a second. His hand lowered, his back straightened. His heels snapped together under the table with a sharp click the tablecloth couldn't hide. Maya, stop! He barked it. Do you have any idea what that means? Glasses stopped moving at the surrounding tables. The waiter carrying the water pitcher froze 2 steps away. My mother dropped her fork. Maya blinked twice. Liam, babe, don't be dramatic. It's just, I told you to stop. I'd never heard him use that tone before. Honestly, neither had I. But that voice wasn't directed at me. It was directed at her. Maya didn't understand why her fiancé suddenly sounded like a soldier addressing a civilian. I said nothing. Just took another sip of water. The glass was warm. Liam stayed standing. He didn't sit back down. Arms tight at his sides. Chin tucked. He wasn't looking me in the eyes anymore. He was staring at a point on the wall behind me, like men do when they're waiting for an order. Sir, he finally said. The word dropped between the plates like a coin into an empty glass. Maya let out a short laugh. Sir? Liam, are you joking? It's Chris, my brother. It's your brother, Liam repeated without moving. And he's exactly the kind of soldier you've spent the last 2 months mocking right in front of me. My father carefully placed his napkin on the table. He said nothing. My mother looked at Maya, then at me, then back at Maya again. Like she was recalculating something she'd already convinced herself she understood. One of Maya's friends, the blonde in the green dress, started reaching for her purse beneath the chair. The other one, the co-worker from her firm, stayed completely still, phone in hand, screen dark, listening. Liam, sit down, Maya said quietly. You're making a scene. You made the scene. I looked up. Liam was still rigid. I made a small gesture with my hand, 2 fingers lowering toward the chair, a subtle command. Liam caught it immediately. He sat. The chair creaked beneath his weight. At ease, I said. It was the only thing I'd said in the last 3 minutes. Liam relaxed his shoulders. Not completely. Maya stared at me, eyes narrowing. What did you just say to him? Nothing important. Don't talk to me like that, Chris. This isn't your barracks. No. I replied. It isn't, my father coughed. My mother placed a hand on his arm, not to stop him, to steady herself. The waiter finally resumed moving. He poured the water. Nobody thanked him. Maya adjusted herself in her chair and tucked her hair behind her ear. That was always her tell before she started talking. Okay, she said, forcing the smile back onto her face. Clearly there's been some kind of misunderstanding. Liam, sweetheart, my brother serves. Yes, we all respect that. But there are levels to this stuff. You're a ranger. That's elite. What he does? Don't continue, Maya. Why not? Because you have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. Maya set her wineglass down too hard. The crystal clink made the next table turn around. Then explain it to me, she snapped. I'm listening. Liam inhaled slowly. He didn't look at me before speaking. He didn't need to. Chain of command doesn't require permission to identify someone. Your brother isn't a ranger. Exactly, Maya said. That's what I've been saying. Your brother, Liam said carefully, is from the unit that trains rangers like me. My mother's fork hit the plate. Maya blinked, opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. What are you talking about? I'm talking about the man sitting at this table, Maya. The one you've spent months calling low level. Her friends still hadn't moved. The blonde now had her purse sitting in her lap, but she still wasn't getting up. The other woman had lowered her phone entirely. Maya looked toward my father for help. He was staring at the table. She looked at my mother. My mother was staring at the table too. This is ridiculous, Maya said, voice climbing half an octave higher. Liam, you don't need to defend him. Chris is perfectly capable of speaking for himself. If he were what you say he is, he would have said it years ago. Right, Chris? I looked at her, didn't answer. I picked up my knife, cut another piece of steak, chewed, swallowed. Maya exhaled sharply through her nose. Seriously? You're just going to eat, right now? In the middle of this? You picked a good restaurant, I said. Seems like a waste not to. Liam lowered his gaze to his plate. He didn't touch the food. His hands rested flat at his sides, palms down. Maya, he said quietly, I've spent 2 months listening to you. I tolerated the jokes about your brother because I thought it was family humor. Tonight I thought I was finally going to meet the guy you always mocked. I came ready to defend him if I had to. I just didn't tell you. He paused. And it turns out the man you've been mocking is the same man who signed the recommendations that got me into advanced operator school 4 years ago. What? Maya whispered. I didn't recognize his face because the last time I saw him, half of it was covered in camouflage paint and the other half was wrapped in a shema. I recognized the patch. Liam, don't say my name like that, Maya. Not tonight. Silence. I counted the seconds out of habit. 4, 5. My mother broke first. Chris? Yes, Mom. Is it true? More or less. More or less? That's the short version. She lowered her eyes. I saw her bottom lip trembling. My father cleared his throat. Chris, Dad. Why didn't you ever? Because nobody asked. No anger in it. No accusation. Just fact. Maya leaned forward. Okay. Fine. I get it. This is a huge misunderstanding. But this can be fixed. Chris, why don't you tell us? Go ahead. You've got the audience. I don't have anything to tell. Come on. Liam just said you signed recommendations. That alone is a story. It's paperwork, Chris. Maya. For the first time that night, I held her gaze directly. Not with anger, with exhaustion. You wanted a ranger to show off, I said. You got one. Enjoy it. Don't mix me into this. I'm not mixing anything. Yes, you are. And what exactly am I supposed to do? She shot back. Pretend I didn't hear what Liam just said? Do whatever you want. You were already doing that before you knew. Her face went still. I returned to my steak. 2 bites left. I cut them with the same precision you cut anything with once you stop feeling anything at all. My mother stared at her plate. My father poured himself water, something he never did at restaurants. Liam cleared his throat. I need a minute, he said quietly. Excuse me. He stood and walked toward the restroom without looking at Maya. Maya made a move to follow him. The blonde friend grabbed her wrist and whispered something too low for me to hear. Maya sat back down. The waiter appeared with the dessert menu. He looked at the table, read the atmosphere instantly, then left without offering it. My mother spoke without lifting her eyes. Chris, honey? Later, Mom. The words weren't harsh, just firm. She nodded. My father nodded too. Without Liam beside her, Maya had lost the center of the room, not the audience. The audience was still there, her friends, my parents, the waiters pretending not to look, but she'd lost the spotlight. And Maya lived for the spotlight. Chris, she tried again, quieter this time. This isn't fair. What part? You let me do this, for years. Knowing. I did. You could have said something. I could have. Then why didn't you? Because I know you. She lifted her chin. What's that supposed to mean? It means if I'd told you, you would have used it. You would have called your friends and said, my brother's one of the real ones. You would have taken pictures. You would have made up stories. You would have done exactly what you're about to do right now. One of her friends, the quiet one with the phone, looked up for the first time. She looked at me, then at Maya, said nothing. But the look alone was enough. Maya noticed. She lowered her voice. This doesn't just stay like this. It never does with you. Liam returned from the restroom. His face was wet. He stopped behind his chair, didn't sit. Maya, he said calmly, we'll talk about this at home. We are going to talk about it at home. But first, I'm going to do something here. He turned toward me. This time, he looked me directly in the eyes. Then he saluted. A proper salute. Sharp hand, straight fingers, chin tucked. Sir, I apologize for the introduction. I returned the salute sitting down. Short, clean. At ease, Sergeant. Liam held position for 2 more seconds before finally sitting. Maya stared at both of us. She didn't understand. She wasn't going to understand that night. The waiter finally returned with the check. My father reached for it. Liam reached at the exact same time. I didn't move. My father looked at Liam. Liam gave a small nod. They split the bill in silence, both cards landing on the tray together. Maya stood first. She grabbed her coat. Her friends followed a second later, one quicker than the other. Nobody hugged goodbye. My mother squeezed my hand. My father placed his hand on my shoulder, directly over the patch, without saying a word. I walked out into the parking lot behind Liam. Maya was ahead already, talking loudly with her friends about traffic, about the restaurant rating, about literally anything except what had just happened. Liam stopped beside my car. I unlocked the door. Before I got in, he looked at me. Sir, I didn't know. I know. It won't happen again. It's not yours to fix. Yes, it is. I looked at him, 30 years old. Tank shoulders, perfect posture, and the eyes of a man who'd just been shown the woman he planned to marry from a completely different angle, and now he couldn't go back to the old one. Call me when you know what you're going to do, I said. Yes, sir. I closed the door and started the engine. In the rearview mirror, I watched Maya trying to get into Liam's car. Liam opened the passenger side door for her with the exact politeness of a soldier who had already made a decision. He just hadn't said it out loud yet. I pulled out of the parking lot. The highway was empty. I turned on the radio, turned it back off. 4 hours until base. I'd make it before sunrise. I got back to base at 4:20 a.m. The gate guard recognized me and raised the barrier without asking questions. I parked, went upstairs, took off the uniform, hung it carefully, slept 4 hours. At 9, I found the messages. 4 from my mother, 1 from my father, none from Maya. The first text from Mom, sent at 11 p.m. Did you get there safe? At midnight? Let me know when you arrive. At 1:30, Chris. At 3:50? I love you, son. My father's message had come at 5 in the morning. Call me when you can. I answered my mother first. Made it. I'm okay. Then my father. I'll call Saturday. I locked the phone and put it down. At 10, I had duty. I didn't think about Maya again until lunch. One of the younger lieutenants asked how the dinner went. Told him it was fine. He looked down at his tray, didn't ask another question. Wednesday, Maya called. I didn't answer. She left a voicemail. I deleted it without listening. Thursday, she called twice more. The first call stayed on my screen for 3 seconds, the second for 4. I ignored both. Friday, my mother called. I stepped out of the barracks and walked across the yard before answering from a bench. Chris. Mom. Can you talk? 10 minutes. Your father wants you to come home. I told him I'd call Saturday. I know, but he wants you here. He doesn't want to do this over the phone. And you? Silence on her end. 3 seconds. 4. I want you to come too, she admitted softly. Not to pressure you, just to see you. I'll come next weekend. I've got leave Monday and Tuesday. Okay. Mom. Yes? Will Maya be there? A longer silence this time. I don't know, she admitted. I told your father I'd rather she wasn't. That's fine, Chris. Yeah, sorry. You don't have to apologize right now. Yes, I do. I hung up with my hand still warm around the phone, stayed sitting on the bench another 5 minutes. A corporal walked past and saluted. I returned it automatically, then went back inside the barracks. Saturday, I called my father. He answered on the first ring. Chris. Dad, how's the service going? He'd never asked me that before. It's going well. You have people under your command? Yes. How many? 12 this cycle. 12 men? 12 operators. I see. He didn't, but he was trying. Dad, yeah? Why are you asking now? Because I never asked before. I leaned back in the chair. That's fair. No, he said quietly. It's not fair. But I'm starting now. Silence. Then he cleared his throat. Your sister tried talking to me Tuesday. About what? You? Liam? What happened? What did you tell her? That I needed time to think. She didn't like that. I can imagine. She called 3 more times during the week. I didn't answer any of them. Your mother didn't either. You don't have to punish her for me. We're not punishing her, my father replied. We're just listening with less urgency. That was the closest thing to an apology my father had ever given me in 15 years. I accepted it without comment. I'll see you Friday, I said. We'll be here. We hung up. That night before bed, I opened Maya's messages for the first time. 5 total. The first, 2 days after dinner. We need to talk. Second message, Chris. Third, I know you're mad, but this isn't fair. Fourth, Thursday afternoon. Liam isn't answering me. Do you know anything? And the fifth, Friday morning. Please. I didn't answer any of them, but I read all 5. That told me everything I needed to know before next Friday. Liam never called. Never texted either. I'd told him in the parking lot to call me when he knew what he was going to do. I didn't take the silence as disrespect. A man making a serious decision doesn't call on Monday. He calls once the decision is already made. Saturday night, right before lights out, I finally got a message from him. 3 words, still processing, sir. I replied, take your time, then closed the conversation. Sunday morning in the dining hall, one of my sergeants walked over carrying a tray. Sergeant Nunez served with me through 2 rotations. He sat down across from me without asking, Sir, there's a rumor going around base. There are always rumors. This one's about you. I looked up from my coffee. What rumor? That a ranger snapped to attention for you in a restaurant last weekend. Who said it? Came through the chain. A corporal who knows the sergeant who saw it. Who saw it? They didn't say, but the story's pretty specific. I took another sip of coffee. Concerned? No, sir. Just figured you should know. Thanks, Nunez. He nodded, ate his breakfast. Didn't bring it up again. But that's when I realized the dinner hadn't stayed at the dinner. It had walked out of the restaurant on its own. Through waiters. Through one of Maya's friends texting somebody. Through Liam talking to his peers. Maya wasn't going to control the story anymore, and I wasn't going to chase it. But I wasn't going to stop it either. I folded my napkin, returned the tray. That afternoon, I wrote 2 administrative emails, signed 3 forms, and approved next month's training cycle. Paperwork. Exactly the kind of work Maya thought I did. At 6, I headed down to the firing range. Had to sign off on a corporal finishing qualification. He saluted. I returned it, signed the form, told him he passed. He grinned, and left. When I got back to the barracks, there was a new text from my mother. A photo, the kitchen table at home, set for 4 people, with an extra plate beside my father's. Underneath, she'd written, We'll be waiting Friday. I locked the phone. 5 days until Friday. Tuesday afternoon, while reviewing the morning drill reports, my phone rang. Liam. I stepped outside the barracks and crossed the yard. Answered from the same bench where I'd talked to my mother. Sir. Liam. Do you have a few minutes? 20? That's enough. Silence on his end. Not uncomfortable. Organized. He was lining up questions before asking them. I'm going to ask you some direct questions, he said. I need direct answers. If there's something you don't want to answer, tell me and I'll drop it. Go ahead. How long has Maya talked about you like that? About 15 years. Since you joined? Since I decided to join. What did she say back then? That it was the coward's option, that people who couldn't compete academically went into the military. Did your family support that? My parents didn't support it, but they didn't contradict her in public either. I understand. I let him understand. Wait, he said. Did she say these things directly to you or mostly behind your back? Both. The worst ones happened when I wasn't around. How'd you find out? My mother. Sometimes she told me. Sometimes things slipped. And your father? My father never repeated it, but I knew he heard it. Silence. Saturday night, Liam continued carefully. Was that the first time she humiliated you publicly in front of me? First time in front of you. So not the first time publicly. No. Another pause. He was keeping count. How many times? Never counted. Estimate. More than 20. Less than 50. How many with military people around? I didn't always know who was military, but at least 3. 2 weddings, 1 baptism. Did nobody ever say anything to her? Once. A retired colonel's wife warned her privately to be careful how she talked about service members. What did Maya do? Told her not to interfere in things she didn't understand. I paused. Then called her a bitter old woman in front of my mother. I heard Liam exhale slowly through his nose. Does your sister know your actual unit? She knows the generic name, not the role. Your parents? My mother knows what she needs to know. My father knows less. Your choice or theirs? Shared choice. I didn't explain. They didn't ask. Sir? Yeah? Why didn't you ever defend yourself? Because arguing with her publicly wouldn't change anything. It would only make dinners longer. And you? What about me? Were you really okay with it? I went back to base. Long silence. I counted to 8. One last question, Liam said. Go ahead. What do you want me to do? Nothing. Nothing? Nothing involving me. What you do with Maya is your business. What you know about me, now you know. I'm not asking you to defend me. I'm not asking you to leave her. I'm not asking for anything. But you called me sergeant at the restaurant. That wasn't random. No, what was it? A correction of record, not a marching order. I understand, sir. Liam. Yes? If you leave her, don't leave because of me. Leave because of yourself. Or don't leave at all. Yes, sir. We hung up. I stayed on the bench another 10 minutes. Didn't think about Liam. Thought about the training exercise scheduled for the next morning. 2 firing positions needed adjustment. 1 corporal needed reassignment. I went back inside and finished the reports. That night, my mother texted me. Maya came by this afternoon. She cried. I didn't open the whole door. Told her I had company and made her stay on the porch. She talked for 30 minutes. Your father never came out of the bedroom. I asked if she wanted coffee. She said yes. I told her we didn't have any. Then she left. I reread the message twice. My mother had never lied about coffee before. I replied, It's okay, Mom. She answered, I don't know if it's okay, but it's what I could do. I closed the conversation. Wednesday came. No training exercise. Worked 12 straight hours. Didn't think about Maya or Liam once. At 9 that night, back in the barracks, one of the corporals knocked on my door. He wanted permission to attend his nephew's baptism Saturday. I approved it. He thanked me twice. I told him once was enough. He smiled and left. When the door shut, I sat on the bed. The next day's uniform was already pressed over the chair, boots lined up beside it. And for the first time all week, I realized something. The dinner had happened only 8 days ago. In 8 days, Maya had called 7 times, sent 5 messages, gone to my parents' house once, dropped several positions inside her firm's internal hierarchy, and still didn't understand what she'd actually done. I turned off the light. Thursday afternoon, while washing my uniform in the shared laundry room, I caught a glimpse of a sergeant's phone screen over his shoulder. I wasn't trying to look. The image just happened to land in front of me. Instagram. Maya's PR firm had posted a team photo. Maya wasn't centered anymore. Her name appeared in the caption, 8th out of 12 names. She used to be listed in the top 3 every single time. That firm ranked those captions by internal importance. I knew because Maya had explained it at least 5 different dinners over the years. I said nothing, folded my uniform, put it away. 10 minutes later, another photo from the same account popped up, company anniversary event. Maya appeared in only one image of the carousel, background, no tag. She used to stand front and center beside the director. I closed the app. That night, just before bed, Another message came from my father. One line, "Your mother's making lamb Friday. Come early if you can." I answered, "Off duty at 4, turned out the light. One day until Friday. I arrived at 6:10. My mother was in the kitchen. My father was outside in the yard lighting the grill. The lamb had been marinating since the night before. My mother hugged me for a long time. Didn't say a word. Neither did I. My father gestured toward a beer with his chin from across the patio. I walked over and handed it to him. He popped it open against the edge of the grill like he used to when I was a kid. "You got here early." Took the shortcut. He drank. I drank. We stood in silence for 10 minutes, smoke rising straight upward, no wind. At 7, the doorbell rang. My mother appeared at the patio entrance, hands still in her apron. "It's Maya." My father didn't move. "She alone?" "She brought Liam." My father set the beer down on the iron table, stood up, walked inside slowly. I followed him. Maya stood in the living room, eyes red, dry now, cream-colored coat, scarf around her neck. Liam stood behind her one step back, hands clasped in front of him. When he saw me, he didn't greet me verbally, just gave a small nod. I returned it. "Mom," Maya started, "I know you weren't expecting me, but I need to talk to everyone." My mother didn't answer. She looked at my father. "Go to the dining room," my father said calmly. "There's time before dinner." Maya walked in first. Liam followed. I entered last. We sat, Maya and Liam on one side, my parents across from them, me at the head of the table. Maya began immediately. Prepared speech. "I want all of you to know I understand why you're upset. I know last Saturday's dinner got complicated, but I also need you to understand something. I didn't know. Nobody told me. If Chris had explained what he actually does at any point, I never would have said the things I said." She paused. Nobody spoke. "It's unfair that everyone's treating me like I'm the villain. I grew up believing my brother did administrative work. That's what all of you allowed me to believe." My mother stared down at the tablecloth. Maya continued, "And Liam hasn't returned my calls since Monday, which is also unfair because I didn't do anything he wouldn't have done in my position. I feel like this whole family is turning against me over something that wasn't even my fault." Silence. Then my father spoke. "Maya." "Yes, Dad? When you were 10 years old, you pushed Chris out of the tree in your grandmother's yard. You broke his arm. He wore a cast for 6 weeks. When people asked what happened, Chris said he fell by himself. Dad, that was 25 years ago. When you were 15, you lost the phone your mother bought you. You told the school principal Chris stole it. He spent 2 days grounded before they found it inside your backpack. Dad, when you were 20, you skipped your brother's military graduation. You said you had an exam. You didn't. Your mother checked. You were with your boyfriend." Maya stared at him in shock. "What does any of this have to do with now?" "When your brother came back from his first deployment," my father continued, "your grandmother asked you to pick him up from the airport because she couldn't drive anymore. You said yes. You never showed up. Chris waited 3 hours and took a taxi home. Your grandmother cried that night. I called you. You said you forgot. Dad, I'm not saying this because it helps now," he said quietly. "I'm saying it because your mother and I stayed silent for 25 years thinking it was personality, thinking you'd grow out of it. You didn't. You just learned how to dress it better." Maya went completely still. Until that moment, Liam hadn't said a word. Now he finally looked up, first at my father, then at Maya. "Maya, Liam, not now. I have one question, just one. And then I'll stop talking." Maya inhaled sharply through her nose. "Fine." "On our second date," Liam said, "when I asked about your family, you told me you had a sister. Remember?" My mother lifted her head from the tablecloth for the first time. Maya swallowed. "Liam, that was, do you remember, or not?" "Yes." "Why did you tell me you had a sister?" Maya didn't answer. "Because your brother embarrassed you," Liam said calmly. "Not because of what he did, because of what you decided he was. And the only reason you finally introduced him to me," he paused, "was to use him as the punchline of a joke." Silence. "You don't have to answer that part," Liam added quietly. "I just needed to say it out loud in front of your parents, so it would exist somewhere other than my head." Then he stood, gave my mother a respectful nod, did the same to my father, looked at me. "Sir, sorry for the intrusion. Liam." "Yes, sir? Stay for dinner if you want." My mother made lamb. My mother nodded quickly. grateful for the offer. Liam considered it for 2 seconds, then shook his head. Not tonight, sir. He walked out the front door without waiting for Maya. Maya stayed seated. The cream-colored coat suddenly looked 2 sizes too large on her. My mother stood, went into the kitchen. My father stood too, walked out to the patio. That left Maya and me alone for the first time all evening. Chris. Yeah? This isn't fair. Maya, what? Stay and eat with us if you want, or leave. But don't sit there and tell me this is about fairness. She stood abruptly, grabbed her purse, walked out without her coat, left it hanging over the chair. A second later, I heard the engine start. Garage door, front gate, then silence. My mother returned carrying the tray of lamb, set it on the table. My father came back in with a fresh beer. The 3 of us ate quietly. At 10 that night, my mother folded Maya's cream-colored coat and placed it inside the hallway closet. No comments. I went upstairs to my childhood room. Bed made with clean sheets. Window cracked open exactly 2 inches. My mother had left it that way since I was a cadet. I slept 6 hours. At 6 in the morning, my father was already in the kitchen. Small stove light on, coffee brewing in the old machine my mother refused to replace. I poured myself a cup and sat down. You heading back today or tomorrow? Tomorrow. Leave lasts through Monday. Good. We drank in silence. At 7, my mother came downstairs holding her phone. Maya texted me at 2 in the morning. What did she say? My father asked. She needs to talk to me alone. She says you two are poisoning everything. My father took another sip of coffee. You going to call her? I don't know. That's your decision. My mother stared at the screen for a moment longer, then locked the phone and set it face down on the table. Not today. Fair enough. At 11, Liam called. I stepped outside to the patio. The grill still held ashes from the night before. Sir? Liam, I wanted to let you know I ended the relationship with Maya this morning. Received. It was short, coffee shop near her apartment. I gave the ring back, explained my reasons. Told her not to contact me again. How'd she take it? She asked to speak with my parents. I told her that wasn't appropriate. She asked to speak with my commanding officer. I told her my personal life wasn't a command issue. I left the cafe. Did you explain the real reasons? I told her we had incompatible values. I preferred not to go into details. I didn't mention you. Good. I didn't want her thinking this was revenge on your behalf. It isn't. I know, sir. Silence. Got somewhere to stay tonight? Yes, sir. My father owns a cabin by the lake. I'm headed there. How long? 3 days. Requested administrative leave. Good. Sir? Yeah? I don't want to keep calling you about this. I think I've done what I needed to do. You don't owe me updates, Liam. What you did for yourself. You don't owe me follow-through. Understood? Yes, sir. Take care of yourself. Yes, sir. We hung up. I stayed outside another 10 minutes. My father walked out carrying a bag of charcoal, started pouring it into the grill without asking anything. Lunch outside? Looks like it. We worked in silence. At 2 in the afternoon, the house phone rang. The old landline my mother refused to disconnect. My father and I heard her answer from the patio. She talked for 2 minutes, then came outside. It was Maya. What did she say? She said Liam left her. She's devastated. She wants to come over. What did you tell her? That this house isn't a shelter for her today. That she can call Monday if she still wants to talk. My father nodded once. My mother sat down slowly in the patio chair, hands folded in her lap. Chris, Mom? Did I do the right thing? You did what you could today. That's not the same thing. No. But for now, it's enough. She didn't answer. The 3 of us ate reheated lamb at 3:30 that afternoon. At 5 that evening, my mother got another text. She read it. Set the phone down on the table without handing it to me. You want to know? She asked. If you want to tell me, it's one of Maya's friends. The blonde from the dinner. What did she say? She says the firm already knows Liam ended things. She says Maya walked into the office this morning without warning and got into an argument with a client on a call. The client contacted the account director. The director pulled Maya off the call. My father lowered his fork. They removed her from the account? The friend says probably. My father frowned. Why is that friend texting you? She said she thought I should know. She was at the dinner. Saw what happened. And she doesn't want to be part of whatever Maya's trying to build now. What's Maya trying to build? my father asked. Aversion. She's telling people this family turned against her for no reason, that Liam left because of pressure from her brother, that I refused to see her because of your son. My father's expression hardened slightly. That's what she's saying? That's what she's saying. And the blonde friend? She says she doesn't believe her anymore. My mother turned the phone face down again. At 7, I packed to head back to base. Told my mother I'd come again the following Friday. She hugged me for a long time. My father walked me out to the car. When I opened the door, he offered his hand, then gave it a second squeeze afterward, short. I returned it. Chris. Dad, if you ever need anything from me, anything, you ask. Yes, Dad. Late, he admitted quietly. But I'm asking too, if you ever need it. Yes, Dad. He nodded. I got in the car. As I pulled away, I saw Maya parked at the corner near my parents' house. She hadn't gotten out, just sitting there inside the car, staring toward the house. I drove past her without stopping. She never looked at me. In the rearview mirror, I watched her stay there another 5 minutes before finally driving away in the opposite direction. I reached base at 1:10 in the morning. Monday morning, Sergeant Nunez sat across from me in the dining hall again. Sir. Another rumor. Same source? Different source. One of the officers' wives knows someone at a PR firm. Says there's an executive there going through a rough patch. Does she have a name? She does. That's why I'm telling you. Thanks, Nunez. He nodded. 8. Didn't bring it up again. That night, my mother texted me. Maya called. I told her she could come Saturday if she wanted. Alone, without asking anything from us. She agreed. We'll see, I replied. Okay, Mom. 5 minutes later, another message came through. Your father wanted you to know he took Maya's photos down from the hallway wall. He boxed them up. Didn't throw them away, just packed them away. I answered, okay. Then shut the phone off, took my uniform out of the locker, prepared for the next day. The following Saturday night, my mother called. She came alone. How'd it go? She got here around 4, left around 6:30. Did she cry? Once, briefly. Did she talk? A lot. I listened. Your father listened. We didn't promise anything. What did she say? She said she started therapy. Twice a week. Started Wednesday. That's good. She said the firm gave her a formal warning after the client incident. She's under 90-day internal review. That's good too. She said she misses Liam. She knows he's not coming back. She's trying to accept that. That's good. She brought the ring Liam returned. She tried to show it to us. We didn't look. I told her to put it away. That's good. She asked whether I was going to tell you what she said. What did you tell her? That yes, you and I talk. Did that upset her? No. She just nodded. Silence. Then my mother spoke softly. Chris. Yeah? She wants to see you. Not today. Whenever you're ready. No, Mom. Never. I didn't say never. I said no. When? When she has something different to say. Not the same speech wearing different clothes. How am I supposed to know when that happens? You'll know when you hear it. Silence again. Okay, son. Mom. Yes? Don't call me just to report Maya updates. That's not fair to you, and it's not useful to me. You want me not to mention her at all? I want you to tell me what you need to share, not what she needs reported. Understand? Yes. And Mom? Yeah? Don't invite me home thinking my being there will help Maya understand something. I'm not going there to be living proof of her mistake. If I come home, I'm coming to see you and Dad. The rest isn't my job. Yes, son, I love you. Love you too. We hung up. 3 weeks passed. I worked, rotated a new team in, approved another training cycle. My mother texted twice, once to send me my grandmother's bread recipe, the second time to ask what I wanted for my birthday. Neither message mentioned Maya. My father called once, talked 10 minutes, asked about the training exercise, asked about the 12 operators under my command. You could hear him mentally taking notes. I let him. 2 months later, I received a letter. Actual paper, stamped envelope, Maya's handwriting, addressed to the base with my correct rank written beside my name. I opened it alone in my room. 4 pages. I read them once, folded them, then read them again. It wasn't an apology, it was an inventory. Maya had made a list. Specific things, approximate dates, the broken arm from the tree, the phone in her backpack, the graduation she skipped, the airport after my deployment, Every comment at every dinner. The 2 times she hid my uniform when her college friends came over, and one thing I'd never known before. The time she told her college roommate her brother had died because having a dead brother embarrassed her less than having a soldier brother. That line stopped me. At the very end, she wrote, "I'm not asking for anything. This was for me, not for you, but I thought you had the right to read it. M." I folded the pages carefully, placed them in the desk drawer beneath the regulations manuals. I didn't answer that week, or the next. On the 3rd week, I sent a response. One handwritten line on a blank postcard, received. Chris. I mailed it to her office, not her apartment. Her business card was still pinned beside mine on the corkboard in my parents' hallway after 5 years. 6 months later, my mother told me Maya had been reassigned to a smaller account with less visibility, and that she accepted it without arguing. She said Maya was attending therapy 3 times a week now, had stopped seeing most of her old friends, had made 2 new ones, quiet women. Neither worked at the firm. 8 months later, I got a short email from Liam, 1 professional sentence. He was requesting a recommendation for an instructor development program. I signed it within 40 minutes and sent it back. He replied with only 2 words. "Thank you, sir." Never wrote again. My father drank coffee with me during my next visit home. He didn't mention Maya. Asked if I wanted to go fishing at the lake that summer. I said yes. We went in July, 3 days. Stayed at the cabin my father inherited from his uncle. Caught small trout, none worth keeping. We released everyone back into the water. The second night, sitting beside the fire, my father asked about the unit. I told him what I could tell him, didn't tell him what I couldn't. He didn't push. Before bed, he said quietly, "Chris." "Yeah, Dad, if your sister truly changes someday, I'm not going to ask you to start over with her. You'll decide that." "Yes, Dad, but if she doesn't change..." He stared into the fire. "I'm not going to ask you to pretend anymore either. Thank you." "Don't thank me." He gave a tired smile. "I'm late. I'm just catching up." Then he nodded once and dumped the bucket of sand over the fire. The next morning, before heading back to base, I washed my uniform in my mother's machine, pulled it out, hung it carefully, pressed it on the old ironing board in the laundry room using the same steam iron my mother had owned since before I was born, folded the shirt along the seams, folded the pants along the creases, adjusted the shoulder patch face up, packed it into the duffel bag. My mother appeared quietly in the doorway, watched me finish packing the last piece, holding a thermos in her hand. "Coffee for the drive." "Thanks, Mom. You taking anything else?" "No, Mom. You coming back next month?" "Yes. Good." She handed me the thermos. I placed it in the same side compartment of the trunk where I always kept it, closed the bag, turned off the laundry room light, and walked out.